My mother passed away 3 years ago. I, 19 female, was her only biological child. Still, she took care of my stepdad's children's 25 male, 26 male and 30 female since their mom died giving birth to the youngest. I'll call him John, so my mom was their only maternal figure. They married when I was 2, and she's cared for them ever since. I'm not personally close with either of them or her husband, and when she passed, I moved to my dad's home full-time and never spoke to them again. Now, my mom left some money to each of them, but nothing like jewellery, family heirlooms or things like that. John wants to get married to his long-term girlfriend and a few weeks ago sent me a message on Facebook saying he wanted to talk. I agreed, I congratulated him and everything, but he asked for my mom's engagement ring since she always promised it to him. My mom and John were close, closer than me and her maybe. I knew she loved him the most and it hurts, yeah, but whatever. He showed me some old messages between him and my mom saying things like, "If you want the rings, just ask, my love," or "I have the ring kept in a box for you." But she never actually changed her will for the ring to be left to him, and she had plenty of time to do so because she did leave them money. This ring goes a few generations back, maybe 250 years old. It was my mom's, my grandma's, my great-grandma, etc. My mom wore it all the time and it's the only piece of jewellery she liked. So I said I was going to think about it before leaving. I consulted my mom's lawyer and he said that they have no claim over the ring because it's stated for the rest to go to me while they receive money, and that if they try to sue, it'll most likely be a loss on their part. So I'm legally in the clear. I texted my stepbrother again and said that I'd given it a thought and ultimately decided not to give him the ring, but that he was welcome to pick up another piece of my mom's jewellery box. Everything exploded. John and his brothers are calling me an idiot because she promised him, and I don't know what to do. He's calling me a thief and a jealous sister. Not the idiot, block him. You had no contact with him after your mom died, so it shouldn't be that hard to block him. Your mom took the time to write out a will where she clearly stated what she wanted to leave each of you. If she wanted him to have it, she would have either included it in the will or changed the will at some point. She did neither of those things. The fact that this ring has been in her family for over 200 years and was passed down from mother to daughter suggests she intentionally did not leave it to him in the will. She intentionally left all of her items to you as her biological daughter. Agree. Your stepbrother is not biologically related to anyone who owned the ring, while you are descended from past owners. It's a family heirloom passed down to daughters. It's your family history. You barely know him and you offered him any other piece of jewellery from your mom. Stand firm. Who cares what people who are basically strangers that you are slightly related to are saying? Block them and move on with your life. Also, I have doubts about those texts because she didn't leave him the ring in her testament. The text stepbrother showed you could be fake. Do you really think it was about the rings in question? First, it was plural, not singular, and you are talking about one ring. Second, you stated that she always had this ring on her finger, and she spoke of a box in the messages. I'm not saying the texts are fake, but are they about this ring? Exactly this. Opie's mother wore the ring daily in her life. Opie wears it daily now because it's meaningful and sentimental to her. In the text, her mother told John the ring was kept in a box for him. This implies it's not the same ring, as this ring was worn and not kept in a box. The texts actually prove the mother was referencing a different ring. As Opie states, "My mom wore it all the time," and the text messages from her mom to her stepbrother stated, "I have the ring kept in a box for you." Opie, do you know for a fact that the ring in the text is the ring in question? If she'd wanted him to have the ring, she should have given it to him while she was alive, but it would have been an idiot move on her part to send it out of the family. I really don't know why she said the rings, but my mom did own several, even if she only wore the one I'm talking about. My mom never told me about leaving this one to him, so I don't know. You made me think. So my 20 female parents have these family friends from New Zealand. They often come to stay with us on holidays. Their preschool kid also comes to stay. So now I often volunteer to spend time with the kid, play a couple of games, muck around, whatever. But the last 4 days, as soon as I've come home from work, this kid has been running to me like I'm a parent. I can't make myself a coffee because I've got a kid to play racing cars with. The parents have made no effort to make sure the kid gives me space. I quickly got absolutely sick of it, but I bore it because I liked the kid. But this particular time, the kid approached me while I was trying to do my washing. The parents were out the back doing something. They purposefully left me with the kid and didn't even ask. So I had a party with the kid, blasted sick rock music, did some sick punk makeup on him, and taught him to say and thoroughly enjoy saying nasty curse words. The kid had the time of his life. The parents were absolutely furious with me. But I didn't agree to be a role model. I wanted them to keep their kid away from me. This was the only type of crap I thought would work because they don't care about how I might feel. Anyway, what do you think? LOL. You are the idiot. Essentially, this story says, I never had the backbone to say no and create boundaries with the people in my life. So I got angry when they got used to me doing the same thing repeatedly and decided to teach their children foul language without first asking the parents. That's what you did. Learn to have a conversation and create boundaries like an adult. So she's supposed to say no to people who don't have the common decency to talk about her watching after their kid. If she isn't given a chance to set boundaries because they haven't asked her, how can you fault her for not having a backbone? Get your head out of your butt. OP's not the idiot. Are you a 20-year-old woman? You sound more like a teen boy. The mature thing would have been to take the kid to the parents and say you don't have time to watch him right now. Done. Instead, you made a point to teach the child to be completely obnoxious, and you seem to have gotten off on doing it. Passive-aggressive behavior is not a good look. Learn to communicate with someone other than a toddler. Being female instead of male means OP should be more mature. All you people need to put yourselves in the child's place. If the parents come and get the child, there's no rejection. It's just parents being parents. If OP takes the child to the parents and stands up for herself, that child is being openly rejected by someone the child looks up to. When my nephew was an impressionable toddler, my older sister used to dump him on my mom and me all the time because she thought she could have a party life and a kid every single weekend. We taught him how to say, "Stick it up your bum, mum." He'd run around going, "Stick bum, stick bum." She got the picture and learned to look after her own kid. You are not the idiot. I, 38 female, recently quit my job at a big tech company, making $200,000 plus, and my husband also makes a similar amount working in tech. I live very frugally and save 70 to 75% of my income with my husband. We now have a nest egg big enough to retire and enjoy our passions. He loves carpentry and is making custom furniture, and I'm dog walking and making custom cakes. Now we make enough to support ourselves since our house is paid off. With our nest egg, I think even with inflation, we should make it for the rest of our lives. So we decided to work for ourselves, which meant we didn't make as much. My husband still works as a contractor, but the contract expires in 6 months and I've already retired. I was burned out already for years but forced myself through it because I was afraid of retiring during the global uncertainty, but it looks like it's a crapshoot no matter what, so I just retired to enjoy my life. The problem is I paid for my parents' housing for nearly a decade. My brother has ADHD and lives with them, and he's been fired from every job he's had. I believe it's because my parents coddle him and not due to this ADHD. He got meningitis as a baby, and while he didn't have any lasting issues, my parents were always really soft on him because of it and let him get away with everything. Now he's in his 30s and can't hold down a job. So my parents are still raising him, and my mom never worked because my dad was always the breadwinner. But my dad was laid off a decade ago and couldn't find other work in his field, so he's been doing part-time jobs. When they couldn't make rent, they asked me for help and guilted me into it because I made more. So I pay roughly $700 a month for them to stay in their place and have done for the last decade. In the beginning, I tried to get my mom and brother to work, but they kept saying how tired they were and kept putting off sending out resumes to the point I gave up. About 4 months ago, I told them of my plan to retire early and start my own business, and of course, I was called selfish and ungrateful for cutting them off because I make more and I'm choosing to quit. Then, this month, the landlord came to ask for money, and they ran to me for money again, even though I gave them 4 months' notice and made it clear that this month's rent was the last month I'm paying, and demanding I pay another month because they weren't ready. I told them they had 4 months to figure things out, but I was sick of paying for their rent when my parents were still in their early 60s and could work. Now I'm getting repeated calls, texts and emails calling me cruel and greedy for cutting them off. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I have ADHD and have a career in engineering. Your parents just raised an idiot. If they keep asking you for money, go low contact with them. Not your pig, not your farm. Good luck with your retirement. I'm very freaking jealous. I think the correct term is a parasite. They raised a leech. Agreed. 4 months is more than most would get. You complain about your parents enabling your brother, but that $700 enables all of them. ADHD is tough, but millions manage to work with it. It's time for your brother to figure it out. Between the 3 grown adults, they can't come up with $700 in a month. Even a part-time job would make up that $700 in a few weeks. ADHD is just an excuse in his case. As someone with ADHD, it's hard but manageable and a part of life. Suck it up and work with it. You'll not be given handouts your whole life. Also, that $700 is enabling them. I'm glad you stood your ground and cut them off. They'd have the same excuse next month if you paid this time. Both you and your partner deserve to live the life you've worked so hard to build. However, there is a huge difference between giving a helping hand and surrendering your life to enslavement. We're in a bad situation. My husband's brother Jack and his wife Linda died in an accident and left behind 2 kids, a young teen female and a tween male. My in-laws are devastated, as are the kids' other grandparents, but since they're all living in assisted living, they can't take in the kids. They want the kids to stay in the family, so they want the kids to go to one of Jack or Linda's siblings, Sam, his sister, or Linda's brother George or sister Amy. The kids are currently staying with George, though his wife only took them in because she thought it would be temporary. Unfortunately, money is tight for them, and recently she told him that she'd leave him if it turns out he tricked her into taking the kids permanently. Now George wants out. Sam's sister lives with roommates in New York, so it's down to Amy and us. Amy told the grandparents that Sam and I will without asking us first. All 5 people have called Sam at some point to tell him it's the right thing to do, but we really can't. Our house only has 3 bedrooms, and we have 3 kids. We can't afford a bigger one, and there's no basement. Amy says we're the only ones who can take in the kids because she and her husband are child-free and don't know how to take care of kids, and if we don't, we'll likely be responsible for her brother's divorce. She says since my husband and I work, we have extra income and we already have 3 kids, so what's 2 more? The income part is not true. We're tight on money too. Also, Linda's sister is married to a Big 4 consultant who makes more than both Sam and I combined, so I don't understand why she can't take the kids and learn to parent. She just says she and her husband travel a lot. He travels for work, but she likes to tag along. Last night, my in-laws called again to beg us to take the kids. Sam was thinking about giving in, but I told him no. I'm already working longer hours just to make sure our kids have a college fund. Also, I didn't work those all-nighters just so my kids could either not go to college or take out huge debts. I said I still think Linda's sister should give up her traveling with her husband before we make our kids cram into the same room and spend their college funds on their cousins. Sam said we should ask the kids to see if they were okay with it, which made me angry. I'm not passing the guilt to my kids so some flighty woman can vacation with her husband while everybody else struggles to make ends meet. At the moment, I considered telling Sam that if he dared to involve our kids, I'd leave him too. I haven't because I don't want Jack and Linda's kids to think that they're causing everyone's marriages to break down. Still, this situation is really bad, and I feel bad for the kids. So I told Sam we needed to convince the grandparents to either find distant relatives we can help search, or get Amy out of her permanent vacation. Am I the idiot? Edit. For the child-free people, I don't mind that people choose to be child-free or want to stay child-free, but Amy cannot volunteer my husband and me without asking us, and then expect that we will not ask her to spend some effort in helping the kids find a place to stay, even if not with her. Making some phone calls will not stop her from being child-free. Her choice to be child-free does not mean she gets to freely be mean to us by first trying to push responsibility on us and then run away from all responsibility. Everyone's the idiot here. First of all, in these situations, I always say that nobody is obligated to take on extra children if they aren't wholeheartedly willing to do so. That includes everyone involved in this story. That said, the finger-pointing and the attitude that everyone else should be the one to take in the kids is really gross. If you don't want to, fine. But don't point the finger at someone else and say they should give up their lives before you have to. The reason why I say screw the child-free sister-in-law is that she volunteered OP without even asking. Not the idiot OP. I'm a child-free person as well. I got a vasectomy and everything because I don't want kids. That being said, if my sister and her husband died tomorrow and their infant needed care, I would be there because it's what a proper human does. End of discussion. Agree, not the idiot. But these kids should both be eligible for Social Security until they turn 18 or 19 if they're still in high school. When my husband died, I received almost $2,500 a month for my son until he turned 18. Then he got that amount from 18 until he graduated high school, so that should help offset the costs of raising them. OMG, I'm stressed out just reading this. Update. Am I the idiot for not taking in my niece and nephew? Thank you to the people who posted good advice and sent resources in direct messaging. I called my state's Children's Services Department about getting approved as foster parents. They said we could only have 2 kids per room and they must be of the same gender. So Sam and I do not meet the minimum requirement for housing unless we only take the boy. There is no way the kids or the grandparents will agree to split up the kids. They also said we couldn't use an RV to count for a bedroom. I also called about the kids' Social Security. They can get $900 a month in benefits because it seems to depend on how much their parents worked. Jack worked sometimes and Linda did not. Sam and I have explained that we're not legally eligible to take the kids to the grandparents. They now think Amy should take the kids, but I don't think she will. Either way, we're staying out of their talk with her, which is a nicer thing than what she did to us. I will try a few other things to help find the kids a place to stay. One idea was to make Amy ask her and her husband's friends to help find good and safe foster parents, and we can visit the children if they want us to. I think she will do it this time because she's the only one left who can legally take the children, unless the law in George's state is different.